The Seattle Seahawks defeat the New England Patriots, and I, as a Raiders fan, am super excited about it. The reason being is because Josh McDaniels is one of the most despised coaches I've ever seen in the NFL, and he destroyed our Raiders team. We are still suffering from his path of destruction, so to see his offense get annihilated by Seattle's defense, kudos to you, Seattle, for winning the Super Bowl. And more importantly, we've got confirmation now, straight from the horse's mouth, of Klint Kubiak after the Super Bowl, letting the entire world know it's a done deal. He's coming to Vegas, and he is pumped about it. So let's talk a little bit about last night's Super Bowl. Number one is Drake May looked like a junior varsity high school football player out there. He looked lost. He looked confused. He looked afraid. Now, a lot of people are crediting that to Seattle's defense, which did play really well. But I want to talk about Seattle's offense, who didn't play all that well. They weren't horrible, but they didn't live up to the expectations of what Raiders fans were expecting the Raiders to be under Klint Kubiak. Now, let's just be honest. The Patriots defense... Now, let's just be 100% clear here. The Patriots defense is really good, especially under their head coach. So the fact that Seattle had a little bit of difficulty against that defense isn't surprising to me. What was surprising to me is that Seattle didn't really get as much of a run game going as I thought that they would in this game. Sam Darnold played okay, and the rest of the team played okay. But it wasn't electrifying. And that, for the Raiders fans, should be a cause for concern. Because the whole reason why we're bringing over Klint Kubiak is because we want to electrify this offense, which has been anemic pretty much ever since John Gruden got blown up by the NFL. However, let me just say this. Winning a Super Bowl is absolutely one of the hardest things that any football player will ever do. And the fact that Seattle was able to go in there and come out with a dub, for me, that's enough. I'm not concerned about Klint Kubiak in his offense. I think having Fernando Mendoza, which is, in my opinion, a more talented Sam Darnold, and having Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers and $100 million in cap space almost, I think they're going to be fine. I think in the free agency, they're going to go out and they're going to get some studs. They're going to bring them in. I've already made a video about that. It's my last video. If you haven't seen the top 10 free agents as well as draft picks for the Raiders, go ahead and check that one out. I'm not going to rehash it here. But what I will say is this. The fact that Klint is for sure coming to the Raiders, and the Raiders are now taking a new leap into their future with a number one overall draft pick quarterback and a young, innovative, quality coach in Klint Kubiak. I think it's going to be a road for success. Now, let me just preface that with the fact that I also believe it's going to be a long-term journey. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Do not expect the Raiders to turn it around and be in the Super Bowl this year. If we even make the playoffs, that's going to be fantastic. But I do believe that the Raiders have some major holes. We really don't have top-notch quality receivers. I love Trey Tucker, but at this point, Trey Tucker really hasn't turned out to be a star. I love Jack Besh and his story and the fact that this guy has a lot of heart and grit. We'll see what he does in year 2. I love the fact that we have some speedsters on this team, again, like Trey and Dante Thornton Jr. But again, they're not scaring defenses, and that's the problem. We don't have a number one overall wide receiver. And the Raiders are going to have to address that in either the draft or they're going to have to address it in the free agency. Now, I don't love the wide receiver core that's coming out this year like last year. You had some real absolute stars coming out like Malik Neighbors last year. I know he got hurt and didn't play a whole lot last year, but boy, when that dude gets healthy, the New York Giants are going to just be rolling all over people because he's a stud. I don't see that level of a star wide receiver in this year's draft, maybe in next year's. So Maybe the Raiders could go out and do something in free agency. Maybe the Raiders just don't get a star wide receiver this year. And that's why I say this is going to be a marathon, guys. It's not going to be a sprint. And the biggest concern that I have in talking to my fellow Raiders friends and fans out there is Mark Davis. If the Raiders don't win a Super Bowl by year 2, is Klint Kubiak out the door and we're starting all over from scratch? Well, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because even though they gave a 3-year deal to a very elderly care senior last year, that was not the first choice. They were going after Ben Johnson. We all knew it. We all believed that he was going to come. We thought the magic of Tom Brady was going to bring Ben Johnson to the Raiders. It didn't happen. But Klint Kubiak is Tom Brady's pick. That's his guy. He has gushed over this dude so much, you'd almost think that they were having some type of a fling at night, right? So I believe that if things don't go well year 1, that it's not going to be a panic mode, reset, rebuild like Mark Davis has been prone to do. I think that Tom Brady's going to be the cooler head here, and he's going to say, listen, Mark, it's a process. We have to let this process play out. Clint's a great coach, and maybe we only won 5 games this year with our rookie quarterback. But remember, Peyton Manning, the Hall of Famer, his first year, he won 1 game. The next year, he was in the playoffs. So, again, you have to be very patient with this coaching staff, and you're going to have to be very patient with Fernando Mendoza, because although I do think out of all the quarterbacks that are going into the NFL this year, he's obviously the only first-round draft quarterback, and he's the only one that is a day-one ready type of a guy. I think that Fernando Mendoza is going to come in to the NFL with the Raiders, and he will start week 1. And I believe that because he'll get that experience, he's going to have some bumps in the road, but by the end of a very long 17-week season, Fernando's going to have it down because he's that smart of a quarterback. He's going to be able to read these NFL defenses. By the end of the season, he's going to feel comfortable, and by year 2, this dude should come out just blazing, right? And if that's the case, then the Raiders are going to be in a really good situation. But the offensive line really needs to be addressed. The Max Crosby situation really needs to be addressed. And we're not going to get into that here, but I'm going to tell you right now, if the Raiders can get something done on that offensive line and we start winning games and Max hasn't been traded, he's going to be one happy camper, because at the end of the day, that's all Max talks about. He wants to just start winning games, and he wants some stability at the coaching situation. He hasn't had that his entire career. He is a superstar. He's starting to act a little bit like a diva, according to some people. But start winning games cures all ills. That's all I got for you guys on this video. If you like it, you love it, you want some more of it, hit that follow button, the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.